10, 9, ignition sequence start. 6.
Hello and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update, not quite daily at the moment, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Fuel community. My name is Wack. Today is May 24th. It's been a while. Like I just said, it's been a while since I made an episode, nearly 2 weeks now since the last one's come out. This is the longest hiatus I've had from making Rocket Fuel episodes. Thankfully, I kept all of you abreast of what was coming up and why there would be a period where I didn't make any episodes. So that's happened. And as you can see on the screen right now, here there is a POAP that Dr. Doofus created, which really kindly created this. And it said Rocket Fuel Weekend Edition from May 14th. And it says, as always, Wack delivers. Congrats, Wack's family. And happy 0th birthday to Baby Wack. And then there's me holding Baby Wack. So yeah, Baby Wack was born on May 14th, like it says over here. And I've been in baby mode completely since then, and it's been really amazing and lovely, and it's so nice to have a baby in the house. It was a fun few days, let's just say. It was very eventful, but thankfully, baby's fine, mom is fine, I'm fine, my other son is fine too. All of us are doing really well. And so thank you so much for the kindness that everyone in the community showed. Your words of support, encouragement were really appreciated. I want to give a special shout out to Brian for just being super awesome and generous and kind and really, really wonderful. So thank you everyone basically who shared words of kindness, encouragement and support in the last couple of weeks. It really meant a lot, that all my friends were cheering me on, so thank you so much. And like I said, there's 110 people who got this POAP, and it says, on May 14th, Wack Attack, Rocket Pool's beloved Rocket Fuel podcast host, watched the Guardians of the Galaxy 3, then delivered his own baby in the car. Baby Wack and Mama Wack are all doing great. So yeah, everyone's doing great. And there's a whole story there, but I'm not going to get into it now. Anyway, moving on, let's get into some actual stuff. So I'm sorry that links might be a bit slow loading today. It's just, they're going to be doing that as well. Sorry about that. Anyway, I'm just not as polished as I was a few weeks ago, I guess. Let's get into it, right? So we have Langers here saying, hey everyone, now that Atlas update has been successfully deployed and is running smoothly, we can turn our attention to the future of Rocket Pool. We need your help in co-creating and prioritizing the Rocket Pool roadmap. The community have already contributed some great ideas. But please give us your thoughts on direction and priority. And then there is a forum link. So actually, before I carry on, I'll let you know that some of the news in today's episode might be a little bit stale now. And I'm missing a whole bunch of stuff. So if there's anything that I'm not covering that you think I should be covering, then pop it into submissions and I'll cover it in the next episode, because I'll be able to stay on top of everything a lot more. There's a whole bunch of stuff that, just is been completely removed because of the fact that it's old news now and everybody kind of already knows about it. So yeah, so let's get to this is 6 days old, right? So a whole lot of people have already come across this post and commented on it and shared ideas. But here's Langer saying, just same thing, we need your help. And then there's some Google Docs and brainstorming stuff and getting documents together. So there's there are 8 categories here that they're kind of thinking across. So the first one is node operators, about auto staking and claiming all ETH rewards transactions, and Dirk plus vouch. Some of this stuff I don't even know what it means. HA research and integration, layer 2 interfaces, withdrawal address can spin down node, remove assignments on mini pool withdrawals. Then the rETH side, we want wallet integrations with Zapper, Ledger, Exodus, Argent, Frame, etc. And protocol integrations as well, with PDAO, Guardian to multisig, setting guardrails, removing Guardian roles, PDAO snapshot, voting for treasury spend, with process, there's the, I know I'm going to butcher this pronunciation, but whole service testnet deployment, and that's going to be like a upcoming update to Ethereum testnet, new testnet that's coming out. With the oDAO, there's health transparency, guardrails, trustless duties, duty removal, rETH Oracle revamp, watchtower specs and diversity, faster tree gen. With Smart Node, we have technical debt cleanup, improved documentation, HTTP API for all alternative UIs to Smart Node stack, undissolved GUI window support, passphrase support for node account generation, for brand. Then we have transparency like Lido scorecard and a website redesign, which has already been worked on. The biggest section here are protocol improvements, so DVT research, permissionless staking, DVT integration, eigenlayer research, execution layer reward theft penalty system rethink, forced exit research, LEB force, PBS, RBL auctions, RPL use cases, refactor smart contracts and gas optimizations, smoothing pool for solo stakers, single mini pool contract, split ETH credits, tokenomic research, staking as service, universal variable adjustment commission, collateral recycle on parties, ETH on behalf of DevOps scenario, and ETH and RPL withdrawal addresses, ossified rocket pool research, EIP 4788 research and design, RPL lending protocol, hardware/protection a la puffer, and self-limiting. So then, there's a SWOT analysis of, the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats that, the Rocket Pool protocol faces right now, and, what we could be working on to make better, what we could continue to improve, and all that kind of stuff. And then Langers goes on to say, what's clear, the core team will be engaged in a fair amount of research and design. There are exciting Ethereum roadmap potentials and emerging tech that we could leverage to further our mission. What's next? We need you. We want your opinions to shape our focus and decide the themes to tackle and the features we build. Tell us what matters to you so we can prioritize. Once we hear from you, we'll build a solid research and development plan. We're very lucky to have vibrant grants and bounties program, so not all the work has to be undertaken by the team. Some coordination will be necessary to determine how the resources and initiatives going forward. Software development is not a straight line, especially when on the cutting edge, but as things clear up, we'll work with you to plan our releases. And as we chart the course forward, your voice remains integral to Rocket Pool's success. Thank you for joining us on this wild ride. So there are a whole lot of comments here. 28 comments have already been made. I'm not going to go through all of them. You can go and read it. It's a really great discussion that's taking place. Don DeCharka here has left messages. Copper, Underwood, Mao, and Joe, and then a whole bunch from other people as well. People, popping in for the first time after a while or for the first time ever to make comments about what they think would be good things going forward. Valdov was here with some comments as well. Wander, of course, with comments. So there's some really, really good stuff here. So definitely go and give that discussion a read. And I think you'll get some really good ideas of what's going on what will be happening with Rocket Pool coming up. So those are really, really important things, and I think we can all get a lot out of it by taking part in these discussions. So definitely go and check that out. So another really exciting thing happened as well, which is actually a lot more recent. This is from yesterday, is that sorry, that's going to happen every time. Valdov had this post saying, it's with great joy that I present a draft version of the oDAO charter and more. There's been my top Rocket Pool priority since before Atlas, so I'm very pleased to see it go from internal draft to something shared as an open draft. There's still some more work to be done to get this over the finishing line, so let's do it. I guess it means let's do it together, right? I won't intro more here, as the document starts with intro. You should read this, which is accurately named, and then Val. So then there's you could read the PNG format of it here. So let's have a look. Yeah, if you want to do that. So yeah, like we can have a quick look at it. It says, intro, you should read this. Hello, greater Rocket Pool community. We've been working hard on the oDAO charter. While doing this, I found it pretty necessary to think about the definition of the PDAO and inflation. The following is essentially 3 documents. One is the oDAO charter. Drafting is fairly far along. We don't want to formalize or finalize without community feedback. Once formalized and finalized into an RPIP, it's intended to be voted on by oDAO node signatures. Then there's a PDAO charter. This is a rough skeleton for the community to flesh out in the fuller draft. Once formalized and finalized into an RPIP, it's intended to be voted on via snapshot. And then there's inflation changes. This is a rough skeleton for the community to flesh out into a fuller draft. Once formalized and finalized into an RPIP, or maybe an RPIP plus an edit to RPIP 10, it's intended to be voted on via snapshot. And then there's more information here. It says, why did the oDAO draft something for the PDAO side? I said we wanted to provide guidance about what would work well for the oDAO and team to avoid potential pain points and resentment. We wanted to provide a concise starting point to conversation. It's very hard to discuss things that are totally abstract, which has been an issue in previous oDAO discussions. There was interactions with the oDAO side. Inflation feeds into oDAO incentives, which are related to duties. Duties have to be split up between the oDAO and PDAO, so their definitions significantly impact each other. That said, those 2 documents are purposely rough skeletons. The community should take it from here. Discuss amongst themselves with the team and with the oDAO, make it more complete and generally improve on it before formalizing and finalizing. So then you can read the whole document. It says the intent is to have an interlinked vote such that support for each document can be clearly seen, and the documents are only in force if all 3 votes pass. And then there's the oDAO charter, and then there's a whole lot of values that the oDAO should have, such as the oDAO shall serve the Rocket Pool community at large, which comprises rETH holders, node operators, and Rocket Pool RPL holders, and upholding the values and responsibilities outlined in this charter. And then there's a whole bunch of things that like the oDAO shall not actively govern the protocol. They shall act as caretakers, serving the Rocket Pool community at large. And then there's subsections of that. The oDAO shall prioritize protocol safety. The oDAO shall minimize its role. The oDAO shall take on additional duties if required by the protocol. The oDAO, in addition to their explicitly defined duties, the oDAO members should act as stewards for the protocol. The oDAO shall not abuse their position for personal gain. The oDAO shall not actively govern themselves. And then there's a bunch of sub rules there. And then current oDAO responsibilities, the list of the oDAO responsibilities, such as the oDAO members must be informed voters on protocol update proposals. The oDAO should actively communicate with the Rocket Pool community at large. oDAO members should effectively fulfill Oracle duties. oDAO members should effectively fulfill support duties. oDAO members may propose setting changes for settings controlled by the oDAO. And then there's information. oDAO members should be informed voters on settings changes for settings controlled by the oDAO. The oDAO members shall apply penalties within the framework provided by the PDAO. oDAO members shall perform the maintenance required to perform the aforementioned duties effectively. Members should not be penalized for reasonable downtime incurred for maintenance. And then there's a change log there as well. And then there's PDAO charter, and this, of course, like Waldorf said, is a work in progress. The PDAO shall serve the Rocket Pool community at large. This comprises rETH holders, node operators, and RPL holders. The PDAO shall be defined by node operators with power based on effectively staked RPL. The PDAO shall effectively govern the protocol in the interest of the Rocket Pool community at large. PDAO members should either be informed and engaged in public discourse about governance, or delegate their voting power to someone that is informed and engaged. The PDAO shall prioritize protocol safety. The PDAO should prioritize decentralization. The PDAO should prioritize permissionlessness. And then there's the inflation changes, and payments to oDAO, current inflation, how it's split. The Arbitrum Security Council was the most apt comparison based on powers and total value locked in the protocol, and then they paid $60,000 per year per seat, USD denominated. And then there's information there as well, and it says what we're targeting is the same rough ballpark as the Arbitrum Security Council, but a bit higher, potentially decrease pay over time for simplicity or as duties are removed. When considering different options, money soon should be valued more than money later, and then there's a lot more information here. So there's some really good like suggestions and ideas that are in this document. Definitely go and give it all a read, but then also engage in the discussions about the document as well, because those are ongoing, and this is a really great opportunity for all our community members to really go, help the future of Rocket Pool, right? Like it's up to us now to give our ideas, share ideas, lend support to ideas that we like, that are already out there, and try to make our voices heard, because it's up to us to make Rocket Pool the best decentralized staking platform there is, and really making sure that those values that we support and cherish so much are the ones that are brought to the forefront. But I feel like this document is definitely a really, really great step, and I'm excited to see how these conversations go over the next few weeks and months. And of course, I'll be covering all that here. Okay, so next I'm going to talk about stats. So over the last week and a half, 2 weeks that I've not really made an episode, things have gone amazingly well, really, really amazingly well. So Rocket Pool now has a total of 425,000 ETH worth of deposits. That is not including rETH that's been burned. It's just mints. Since Atlas went live, we have almost added 200,000. Pretty much added 200,000 ETH into rETH, just less than that, over 150,000, which is absolutely incredible. We're just getting the most beautiful inflow of deposits of minting rETH. As you can see here, the month of May has already had 103,000 ETH has been deposited to mint rETH. I think that's about 95,000 rETH worth, which has totally blown away April, and we've still got another week basically left of May as well. If you have a look at the weekly amounts, last week we had our best ever week, which was 40,000 ETH minted in a month. ETH deposited to mint rETH in a month. If you have a look at the monthly thing, this would have been the best month. This would have been the best month ever by far, and by 33% basically, if it wasn't for April and May. So things are going really, really well with deposits coming through, with the milestones being hit. We're having multiple days of thousands of rETH minted every day. Over the weekend, towards the end of last week, we had 2 days in a row of over 10,000 ETH deposited into the deposit pool. We had days with 11,000. It was just really, really wonderful to see all these huge deposits coming in. The last time we had a day that was under 1,000 ETH deposited was April 30th. So we've not had a single day in May with less than 1,000 ETH deposited. May 17th was the closest at 1,069, but there've been at least 3 days of over 10,000 ETH a day. It's just mind-boggling how amazing it's been. So the growth there is phenomenal, truly phenomenal. If we kind of do a little bit of a deep dive into these stats over here, now we can see that we have over 20,000 staking mini pools. We've got 20,739. The queue has gotten smaller, so our queue now is 1,417, and we've got pre-launch. There's 263 in pre-launch, and for the bond reductions is 139. So there's a whole lot of ETH still waiting to try to clear the queue, and that is, I think there's, let me just have a quick look, just give me a second. I think it's works out to be something like 50. Wait, just 1 second. I've got it here. I think it's 50,000 ETH to clear the queue at the moment. So I'll just, here we go. No, actually, here we don't go. Sorry. No. Where did it go? okay, I don't know. Like there's a whole lot of ETH waiting to clear the queue. That we can still accept, and of course then there's the actual deposit queue as well. Deposit pool itself of 18,000. So I think there's space for like still more than 60, nearly 70,000 ETH that we can take in. So if there's any whale watching, you're welcome to deposit 60,000 ETH into the deposit pool, and that'll be nice for everyone. So what else do we have here? Yeah, so we've got the mini pool queues going on. There's a whole bunch of mini pools in pre-launch. Some of these are about to fail out today in 18 hours because they will meet the deadline without being staked, without the next step happening. And there's a whole bunch of people still adding mini pools here. Like every day, more and more people are still adding mini pools. If we have a look now at the commission, we can see that over like 12,000 are now at 14%, and the ones at 15% are less than 7,000, and like the pie is getting bigger and bigger for people with LEB8s, and that's really showing in these numbers over here, which is awesome. The smoothing pool is going from strength to strength. So last month, was the best ever month that the smoothing pool had. This month again, it's on track for another best ever month. We're getting around 20 ETH a day into the smoothing pool, even with gas prices coming down. Like the blocks, there's still been some really good blocks coming into the smoothing pool, so that is awesome to see. It'll be, I don't think we can hit 700 unless we get a few of the big lottery blocks, but we're definitely on track for beating 500, which is what we had last month. I think we peaked out somewhere around 510, which I think we're definitely on track for beating that as well. So that is really, really cool to see. When it comes to rETH, now we have 369,000 rETH circulating on the market. We're across 25,000 holders, which is amazing. This number here will tell you that we, the amount, the actual rETH before Atlas and Shanghai was at around 230,000, and now it is, of course, 370,000 pretty much. So it's grown really, really beautifully in that time. And let's have a quick look at the TVL as well, with that information, like the total value locked. I'm just waiting for the page to load. Let's see. Yeah, so the total value locked is now 1.6 billion. With 888,000 ETH is locked in the Rocket Pool contracts, and this page gives you a breakdown of how much ETH is locked and where it's locked. So you can see that in the mini pools there's 666,000 ETH. In terms of RPL, there's 225,000 ETH, and yeah, it's really, really cool to see that. Thomas is number one with 38,000 ETH worth of TVL that he's providing on his own. So thanks, Thomas. So with all those queues and the amount of ETH that's waiting to be staked on Rocket Pool, it's still in the thousands of validators. However, on the Ethereum mainnet as well, we still have the queues just getting longer and longer forever, basically. Now it's at 72,000 ETH. 72,000 validators are trying to enter staking, which if you join the queue right now, then you will, it'll take you like 39 days to get through the queue to start staking on Ethereum. So the demand for staking on Ethereum has just gone through the roof, and that's showing in Rocket Pool, that's showing in on Ethereum itself as well, which is wonderful. We already talked about the TVL there. So something interesting that's happening. I don't mean to single out Marceau here, but people in the community were kind of like talking about this a lot. So Marceau unwound some of his stake, withdrew some of his RPL, and closed some of his mini pools. He had 175 mini pools. Now he's got 100 mini pools. As you can see on Rocket Scan here, that there's a whole bunch of mini pools that are still active, but the ones that some of the ones that were at the lower commission, I guess, all the 5% ones have been withdrawn. and he's closed those mini pools down. So with Marceau, it's good to know that people are kind of panicking about what he's going to do with his RPL, because he has a substantial amount of RPL. Just over here it said 230,000 RPL staked. Like, what's he going to do with his RPL? What's he going to do with his ETH? What's going to happen there? I think he actually had more than 400,000 RPL at one point, and then he's like kind of withdrew it, and then withdrew some more, and then on May 22nd he withdrew 60,000 more. So people are kind of worried about what's going to happen with that. The only thing that I can say is, Marceau, I feel, is a very Rocket Pool aligned person, a node operator, and I trust that whatever he does will be in line with helping Rocket Pool grow as much as possible. So that was something that people were kind of worried about. But just as Marceau was leaving, on the flip side, we had this node operator right here who has joined Rocket Pool with 600 mini pools, and is staking now. Well, is getting queued to stake now. But these mini pools were started last week, and there's literally 600 of them. so we're just waiting to get through the queues, and it's going to take a while. But this is the thing about Rocket Pool, right? Like, people have left their stake for one reason or another. I closed 3 of my mini pools, for reasons as well. But people are just coming, and there's literally thousands of people waiting, I think, to start their mini pools, their new validators. I don't really want to say things that I'm not sure about, but I can make a strong guess that some of our bigger node operators are kind of just letting the smaller people in the community kind of get through their conversions to LEB8s before the whales kind of like get in line for that. I really think that a few of them will be doing that once we clear the queue, and it looks like the community is kind of like satiated. We've only had like 25% of like previous mini pools that have converted, or maybe 30% now that have converted to LEB8s. So there's a whole lot of like rETH and ETH demand that's waiting there as well. So that's going to be really interesting to see. Okay, so kind of putting all that information together, Jasper had this tweet thread that came out after 1 month after Atlas. So he says 1 month Rocket Pool Atlas retrospective. So he says Atlas allows validators, like we already know that. So he says, let's see the effects. So on rETH, he says there's a 44% increase with Rocket Pool's TVL. We crossed 1 billion, which was huge, like 132k ETH growth, 27%. RPL staked grew 6%, and the TVL was 483,000 ETH before Atlas, and 1 month later is 615. Of course, that's higher now, and then going down into the number of node operators. So just new node operators, they've been over like 350. I think it's closer to like 400 now. I think, I'm not sure. In just like that period since Atlas, and that's more than 10 times, like 13 times Lido's entire staking set. In terms of market share, Rocket Pool's rETH has grown in LSD market from 5.7% to 7%, which is a 1.3% growth in market share, which in absolute terms is huge. It's been really, really strong. And Jasper says the Rocket Pool ecosystem is burning bright as deposits grow, node operators expand, and DeFi integrations come online. This first month looks like a hockey stick moment, but in the rear view mirror, we'll realize we haven't seen shit yet. And I am in total agreement with Jasper's comment right there. So of course it wasn't just Jasper who was noticing these things. People like DL News here were also starting to see the amazing stuff about Rocket Pool's growth. So it says Ether staking surge helps small players chip out Lido's dominance, a good thing for DeFi. So there's this article here by Tim Craig, who's talks about how Rocket Pool and Frax both grew, and how that growth kind of outpaced Lido's growth. Of course, Lido is a behemoth, so it's going to take a whole lot for us to get to Lido's levels, but it's definitely possible. And here, there's a quote from Maverick. He says, Atlas further reduced our low barrier to entry for node operators and greatly boosted protocol efficiency. The growing list of powerful DeFi integrations making our liquid staking token rETH an increasingly attractive option too. So of course, we'll be talking about rETH integrations later because there's some really good ones that have been happening. But yeah, it's going from strength to strength, which is truly amazing. Okay, so let's get back to some more updates from the protocol now. So here we have this post from Mav saying 2023 has been a pretty big year for Rocket Pool so far. First we had Denver, then Atlas and Shanghai and Capella, and the first GMC round, the Binance listing, Chainlink price feed, the Coinbase Ventures investment, and a few exciting milestones come to mind. And Maverick says an event that's still playing out will likely end up being just as important as Catalyst. Protocol's continued development is the oDAO discussion that kicked off in earnest on Discord all the way back on the 27th of January. For some time now, we've been engaging in early technical work to eliminate some oDAO duties with technical solutions using the upcoming EIP 4788, and then with the intent to replace all if possible in the long run. Recent cryptographic advancements have accelerated this research and development initiative, helped by more team resources being available post-Atlas and the PDAO taking a more active role in helping to plan for the next protocol upgrade. He says, Maverick goes on to say, you may also already be aware, but the main outcome from the January discussion was a comprehensive review of the oDAO role, with the main goals being to document a constitution from which informed decisions can be made about the oDAO's future. Although the idea of constitution actually dates back to at least 2022, this work has also continued to gather momentum post-Atlas, and a first draft will be shared publicly for review soon. Another topic that's been discussed for some time has just a few hours ago been formally confirmed with the passing of RPIP-19. The PDAO has formally signaled their desire for active monitoring of the oDAO's health to ensure the protocol performs optimally. Indeed, one of the challenges of such a rapid growing protocol is keeping track of everything accurately. On that note, the oDAO are investigating recent balance submission performance issues resulting from a timeout error. The protocol is safe and continues to come to consensus perfectly, but some individual oDAO members have reported issues due to the growth in mini pools. We'll keep you posted. Indeed, the most recent bi-weekly update showed a 10.5% growth in active mini pools in just 2 weeks, and we know that there are many more sitting in the queues, plus more latent demand that has yet to convert. And then Mav goes on to say, in other news, haven't posted a reminder to check out the growing list of calls and panel discussions in the event section recently. We're now booking spaces guests out over a month in advance, and a couple extra will be added to the list shortly. Catch you in 8 days for our next space. 8 days ago, featuring Flash Stake. So that's already happened. Let's have a quick look at the upcoming events, because Mav mentioned those. So we have a space with Gravita today at 4 o'clock. rETH will be coming on for that. And then a community call featuring Origin. That's today at wow, busy day today. That's today at 6 o'clock. So 4 o'clock Gravita today, 6 o'clock Origin. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. there's a panel with CoinGecko featuring Darren. And then tomorrow at 9 p.m. there's a chit chat in the Discord for the community. On Tuesday, May 30th, there's a call with Sturdy Finance. On Tuesday, June 6th, there's a community call featuring Asymmetry Finance. And then on June 13th, there's a community call featuring Libra. So there's a whole bunch of stuff going on that you can follow here, and you can get information about what's going on there. But yeah, let's have a look at other protocol upgrades here. So we have this information right here when it decides to load, from Dave. He says, hey everyone, Rocket Pool is one of the oldest, most recognizable projects on Ethereum, and in the top 10 for TVL. We're proud to operate as a tight-knit and efficient team. A rare opportunity though now exists for a new member to join our fold. We're seeking a highly skilled software developer to join our team and enjoy working on the cutting edge of Ethereum development and decentralized staking. The ideal candidate would have strong background in Golang, DevOps, Linux, and a highly desirable experience with the Ethereum staking and the Ethereum blockchain. Also strongly desired knowledge or skills with smart contracts. For more information on what we're looking for, please read the job application here, and then there's a link, and then email us your details and resumes here. And holy shit, I can do that at rocketpool.net. To add to our team expansion, we're also bringing on board another new member in 6 weeks' time as an ecosystem lead to capitalize on the success and new dramatic capacity for Rocketpool. Their role will be to seek out, expand, monitor, engage with all relationship ecosystem wide to help drive growth and maintain dedicated relationships. On this Top Gun to come. More orange names, exciting times. So the team, of course, is growing. So that's really great. If you think that that is a job that you're interested in doing, get applying. It'd be really cool to be orange. Okay, then we have another protocol update here from Langers. I'm just waiting for the screen to load. Oh wait, actually, I missed that out. Yeah, Langers. Yeah, we already read that. That was about the roadmap prioritization. Next, we have the bi-weekly update hot off the press. So let's have a quick look at that. This episode is getting so long already. It's going to be a really long one. So bi-weekly update, May 23rd. And we have rETH growth by 20%, 20.7%, annualized growth of 540%. That's what I love to see. Active mini pool count 10% up, node operator count 6.6% up. Mini pool ETH queue declined 19% to 50,220. Amazing stuff. Smart node version 1.9. I'm going to cover that later. The R&D stuff. The team has been busy upskilling on zero knowledge proofs. The deep dive to determine their potential use in the protocol, including replacing the oDAO tasks. Similarly, research has started on optimistic proof schemes. Ledger integration work is nearing completion. Audits are being coordinated. The current tree-gen process may one day be a thing of the past, with work underway to replace it, the rolling process instead. Improvements have been made to the stake on behalf of site. The doc site has received some performance tuning, is being migrated via VitePress. And then staking site gas estimates adjustments. Rocketpool is hiring for software development role. With governance, there's RPIPs 19 and 20 passed. A call went out for input into the roadmap. The oDAO update posted in Discord detailed the intent to work towards replacing all oDAO roles if possible in the long run. The latest pre-DAO treasury report is available along with the IMC's budget for period 10. A design for revised penalty system was shared for feedback. And there's been a lot of GMC related stuff that we're going to be covering in a bit. With integrations, there's 30 Finance, and there's the liquid staking protocol, Gravita launched, Silo Finance, Aave stuff. I'm going to be covering all of that later in the episode. With media, there's coverage from Glassnode, from DL News, Decrypt, Investopedia, and then the reshuffling stuff that's happening. We're going to be covering a bunch of this. Yeah, a whole lot of updates here, like too many for me to cover in today's episode, but really, really good stuff happening there that you should definitely go and give that a read. There's the bi-weekly, of course. I already had it opened. Okay, so next, after that, we have updates from Joe. So Joe, last week was working on version 1.9.4, and he says that it was imminent and just waiting on Nimbus. But then he said it comes with a nice treat, which is the new Grafana dashboard system. That is Grafana, which is their dashboard system version 1.3. And then Joe shared a screenshot with some of the information in there. Of course, there was some more information as well that Joe then shared about some of the things that will be covered in there. He says how much ETH you get for distributing all of your mini pools, what's the refund amount, rewardable RPL. I know effective is dead, sorry. Borrowed and bonded collateral ratios, mini pool queue length, total ETH required to clear the entire mini pool queue, fix the Nethermind RAM issue, was using the wrong metric, whoops, and some other stuff I'm probably forgetting. And then, of course, there's the full information here in the GitHub notes for the dashboard. He says, we have a new Grafana dashboard that's more appropriate for Chapella and Atlas upgrades, dashboard version 1.3. And then there's a whole bunch of the information that's there, kind of like formalized with all updates. So that was version 1.9.4 that went out last week. And Joe says here, we just released version 1.9.4 of the smart node. It's primarily a maintenance release with many small improvements based on user feedback and requests. Now the Atlas has shipped, but includes some important client updates as well. Please read the key changes below. And then there's like a high priority update if you are on Prism and Teku, and for everyone else it's medium. And there's a whole bunch of key changes there that you can go and read in the link. And there's a whole lot like new commands and new information and a whole bunch of other things as well. So you can definitely go and give all of that a read to get the full information of what was included in version 1.9.4. As you upgraded to version 1.9.4, then there was a POAP available for that. So if you updated within the first 24 hours and commented, put a screenshot in the thread to show that you had updated, then you got this update that Schifrin created, version 1.9.4 update. Of course, today we got the release of version 1.9.5, and that just tweaks some of the things. So Joe says here, we released the much anticipated version 1.9.5, includes some fixes to node status and Grafana and some important Prism and Nimbus updates. So this is a high priority update for Prism and Nimbus users due to important new client updates. It's a medium update for Lighthouse users, anyone that experienced issues while running Rocket Pool node status, which was me, as it fixes that command. For everyone else, it's low priority. And then the oDAO members must upgrade to this version or higher by the next rewards period, so balanced consensus is maintained properly. And then it goes into a bigger, like more information about what was in the update here. So I'll be updating to version 1.9.5 later today. And of course, just as Schifrin had a POAP for version 1.9.4, there is also a POAP for version 1 for those of us who have updated to version 1.9.5 in the first 24 hours, which you can see right here. So if you've got the upgrade, put a message in the thread and you can get a POAP. So post the screenshot of your update. So a lot of people started posting their screenshots because they had upgraded to version 1.9.5. So good stuff. I really like these POAPs for updating. It gives 100 or so people a chance to get a POAP. So that's really, really wonderful to see. Okay, next we have a few updates from the GMC, which Schifrin's been working on really hard and putting a whole lot of really great work into. The first one is a suggestion for a pretty big overhaul of how the GMC assesses and gives out awards. And here we have this post of a new being a rolling awards period instead of once every 3 months reward period. So it's Schifrin here says, for some time now, the PDAO has expressed concerns regarding the efficiency of the GMC's award period system. Currently, the GMC has only 1 month to discuss awards, reach consensus, and deliver a final decision. However, this rigid structure limits the opportunity for adjustments and modifications, leading to decisions that are often too final. Consequently, there seems to be an imbalance favoring retrospective awards over grants. To address these issues, the community has been discussing potential solutions, and the most promising one, according to the GMC, is the implementation of a rolling reward system. This system would introduce an ongoing rewards period, allowing for more flexibility and adaptability in the decision-making process. By adopting a rolling awards system, the GMC believes it can achieve enhanced efficiency and provide greater value to recipients. And then it says here below is the proposed schedule. So step 1, which is week 0, on Sunday evening, the GMC administrator makes a GMC thread for each grant. The administrator enters them into a Google Sheet. Within the first 2 weeks, this is step 2, the GMC scores and forms their decision. And then week 2, this is step 3, on the forum post regarding the grant, the GMC provides comments regarding support, funding, and the ultimate decision of approving or rejecting the project. And then after that, the end of week 2 and going into week 3, the GMC administrator initiates contacts with the awardee to share detailed notes regarding the approval and rationale behind it. A 1-week discussion window is provided, encompassing potential negotiation opportunities. And at this point, everything would be on the table, I presume so, including whether it was accepted or rejected, what the funding amount was, all of that kind of stuff. That this is the point where there would be a 2-way discussion. And then finally, step 5, the GMC will make the decision public via the forum and Discord. And then Shifrin goes on to say, we believe this schedule would not cause excessive demands or create undue time restraints for committee members. Along with rolling rewards period, we're proposing the following improvements for an all-encompassing RPIP because they are independent. So a retro award cap removal I'm going to talk about next, and a GMC administrator role. I'm going to talk about that as well. And then I said, I'm absolutely in agreement with this proposal. I support it completely. Valdorf replied, he says, I like this plan better than simply nuking the cap. So, there's some concerns here, and that, he wants to have suggestions that go into this. And then, there's a bit of a back and forth, but you can definitely go and read this discussion before we figure out what the next steps are. Of course, along with that, there's the retrospective awards cap. That is adding, that's being a huge bottleneck right now for the GMC because of people you can see the retro awards are 75% of total rewards that we've paid out. And people are kind of supporting the removal of the cap or one-time payment to get rid of it, with only 20% of people saying leave it the way it is. And then there's a whole discussion about that as well. And then the next one is this position of the GMC administrator saying that this was submitted as a bounty by Cal, and it was a person who would basically help the GMC do their work. We were doing all the admin tasks, getting everything kind of in place, and that. But as the GMC kind of talked about it, we think that it might be better for this position to be a bit of a wider scope than what was initially discussed. So that is something that is that we've talked about as well, and that we need to that we want to bring to the community. And there've been some replies here as well. So definitely take part in these discussions. They're really important to the functioning of the GMC, and that GMC position, we've already had an application from Shiflin to be the GMC administrator. Of course, I'm on the GMC myself, so I can't really comment to that at the moment. But it's really important that we get a GMC administrator as soon as possible and move to this new system of grants for the benefit of the GMC and much more to the benefit of the Rocket Pool community and people who will be applying for these grants. Okay, next we have a whole bunch of updates. We've got some news here from Decrypt about Ethereum staking tokens with Lido Rocket Pool saw double digits on the week, and why they're doing so well, and how the performance has been really strong. Of course, since then we've had a little bit of a downturn, but it's getting some really good positive coverage in media about the RPL token price and it's how well it's doing. There was some FUD going around, and well, here Jasper shared this information. Basically what happened is there were people in other communities or in crypto Twitter here saying that the growth of staking protocols has been in this way, kind of insinuating that Rocket Pool had gone down by 0.2% and Lido had increased by 1.2%, and showing that information. But Jasper was correcting this kind of misinformation that was there, showing that Rocket Pool actually had a huge growth period during that month up to May 12th, and presenting the more accurate information as well with that. So there was really that was really good that Jasper was correcting that misinformation there. Next we have this information about Gravita, which launched on May 17th. So Gravita protocol had this tweet here saying Gravita is live. You can now open vessels, borrow GRI using wrapped ETH, rETH, wrapped staked ETH, or BLUSD, and you cannot resist the pull of Gravita. And then there's a link to their website. So the way Gravita works, and I'm going to go into this much greater detail. I've been talking about it a lot recently. If you have a look at their app, you basically can deposit your rETH, and you can borrow a stable coin against that and use that in different ways. It's the great thing about it is that it's interest-free staking solution. So once you borrow the amount and you pay the like the protocol fee to do that, which is 0.5% of your loan amount, then even if you have the loan for a year or 10 years, 100 years, you'll never pay another cent of interest on that loan, which is absolutely amazing. It's a really like mind-blowing. I really love it. And so I'm going to be talking about this a lot more in the days to come, and I'm going to go like a big deeper dive coverage into it as well. Of course, you get new protocols and you get people kind of poking holes at it. And here we have a tweet from Chris Black, who's kind of poking holes at Gravita, saying from their own audit posted on their own website. And then there's a couple of screenshots about some information from the audit, and saying like whitelisted contracts can mint arbitrary large amounts of debt tokens, and another one as well where protocol owners can set crucial parameters. So this information came up in the audit about people on the multi-sig being having certain powers that they shouldn't really, I guess, or well, no, that's not to say they shouldn't, but it's not ideal basically. So Chris Black, for those of you who know him, he does this thing where he thinks every piece of information he comes across is like a gotcha moment, and that he's the first person in the world to discover this. Of course, he literally in his own words says it's on their own website and is in their own audits. They're not hiding this information. As bad as it might look, they're not hiding it. But Chris has this great habit of pretending that he was the first person in the world to discover this, and he's the only one who understands the severity of it. Thankfully, the Gravita team and community, their team members are already kind of countering those and presenting a fuller picture of what exactly is happening and what some of these concerns are and how the team are addressing them. The team here says this very valid question. All audits results were replied to in GitHub, particularly for the ones that linked issues 114 and 115. He said the 3 multi-sigs currently with the goal to make the protocol fully decentralized over time. The treasury, which holds the protocol fees and the money raised from the seed round to develop the protocol, at one point the fees will be shared through the GRVT holders. That's a Gravita token when it's released. The admin multi-sig change collection parameters, e.g. raising mint caps, subject to a time lock, 2 days at the moment, and the upgrade multi-sig that can be upgraded contracts through Open Zeppelin Defender. This is also subject to a time lock, and the one with the highest threshold, which will be increased in the future. Apart from the team, there are also external parties such as Anthony Sassano of the Daily Gway. This is the initial design was to start with the non-upgradable contracts. We really like Liquidity's immutability, but we realize that's not feasible with our roadmap. Our current scenario is not optimal, but we hope that multi-sig plug time locks are a good starting point. So the team is not hiding away from this criticism. They want to face it, they want to get it out there, but they're working on it, right? And it's our job to make sure that they keep doing that work and they're still working towards that immutability and making sure that the contracts are locked and not be able to be exploited. Okay, next we have this update from Marc Zeller, who popped into trading a bunch of times. Those of you who know, Marc is awesome. I had him on Launchpad a few weeks ago and we had such a wonderful chat. I really loved it. So Marc here was talking about how he's putting a vote through to activate rETH on Ethereum, Aave's Ethereum version 3. Emote for rETH would enable hyper staking or folding, or it would make that loop a lot more attractive. But then Marc also came into trading to tell us that he was spinning up mini pools first of all, which was really awesome of him. But then he's also working on a rate strategy for RPL borrowing. So then Aave would allow people to deposit their RPL into the protocol and then they would lend it out to other people. Here we had a vote then that is ongoing right now for activating eMode for rETH. Currently there's 100% yes votes, which are 234,000. Quorum has not been reached yet. It's 320,000, so we need another 90,000 votes, basically 86,000 votes to get to quorum. I hope that will happen soon, which would be really amazing, because eMode on Aave would be so great for rETH. After that, we have this tweet that came through about how rETH is growing rapidly in lending bubbles at the moment. So MakerDAO vaults are maxed out now for rETH, and there's a huge spike in demand for that over the last week. rETH is the cheapest way to mint DAI, which is really great. And then there's also information here about how Aave, for a long time had higher amounts of people borrowing rETH on there, but Maker recently overtook it. But as soon as E mode goes through, then that's just going to go through the roof. So that's really cool that people are noticing that. Another thing that happened this week was the DeFi Pulse Index, which is a token that is a basket of a bunch of different DeFi tokens. They included LDO and RPL, so they made a big market buy for RPL and they included it into that, which was quite nice on the price, which is really great, because we're getting all these integrations for RPL now as well as rETH. On top of that, we had Silo Finance here, who are now incentivizing their rETH. So Silo, the rETH Silo will receive $12,000 a month in Silo rewards as follows. So depositors will be getting rETH depositors will be getting $3,600 a month, and ETH depositors will be getting $8,400 a month in that Silo. So that is really cool. This one's really exciting. Jasper was really excited about it with Sturdy Finance. So Sturdy Finance had a vote about including rETH balancer and use a collateral to borrow ETH and redeposit done in a loop for you at max risk leverage. You could earn up to 50% APY. So this is another form of hyper staking like Aave are doing with eMode, which is awesome. So the vote passed, it reached quorum. So now we're just waiting on what the next steps for that are going to be with Sturdy Finance. But that is really exciting as well. So these are things that are going to be huge adopters for rETH. Next, we have a couple of communities that are discussing having their treasuries converted to a part of their treasuries converted to rETH. This one's from BitDAO. So Maverick wrote this proposal about why they should be moving some of their treasury into rETH. And then another one we have here as well is from Vizsla. I've talked about that before, but this is at a vote on Snapshot right now, and they're voting on this. It looks like it's struggling to reach quorum at the moment. There's a lot of favorability in those who have voted, but we need 75,000 votes quorum, and we only have 13,000 votes so far. Also, there's some caveats here that Karpathy is the person who manages the Gnosis treasury, and this is kind of like a nudge towards Karpathy instead of it being binding or anything like that. But still, the Rocket Pool community is really trying to make headways with these treasuries and trying to get them to switch to rETH, which would be really great. Okay, so next I wanted to talk about this project here, Boost. As I finish up the episode, there's just a couple of things left. Boost here says unleash the power of multi-chain staking and boost your assets. So this is some new staking service that has come out. It seems kind of scammy. I think it is really scammy. And here there's the team. So the Keep team is David, Darren, Kane, Nick, Joe, and Maverick. And the pictures look kind of familiar, but the names don't quite match up. For those of you looking on the screen, they've basically 0x Boost here have stolen the pictures and the descriptions of the Rocket Pool team members and have put them on their own website as if that's their team. So they are basically a scam website. Please don't interact with this. But it's really interesting that this is happening like this. So yeah, definitely have to keep your eyes open about these kind of things going forward, because they're getting really, really brazen here. The community kind of had a nice laugh about it, saying things like, Ken here said, any insight why you and the team are moonlighting on another staking project? Oh, it's just a Stater like copy and paste error. So people were having a lot of fun with how they kind of messed up the pictures and all of that kind of stuff, and how they still left Rocket Pool in some of their descriptions and materials. But please stay aware of that. And finally, I want to end this episode on this really, really great news. Jasper I'm so proud of him. I'm so happy for him. Jasper says it's time. It's happened. It's time. I got into med school. Rowan SOM class of 2027. The university is perfect for me. For those of you know that I have come from a principles first point of view, and it's been my lifelong goal to serve humanity and promote the good. That's what reading The Republic in middle school does to you. I belong in crisis, helping people who are having the worst days of their lives. That is the ultimate good. I want to thank everyone here for being my realist, imaginary AI cronbot friends. This community is a home for me. I read Trading How a Tree Sits on the Riverbank. You all have enabled me to overcome hardships most of you were never aware of over the years. I posted, and I hope a few of you have never faced that sort of thing. Turns out that you can discuss a governance article while in a waiting room, or explain tokenomics while passing time in the ER. It's been the most nourishing escapism that I've learned and grown incredibly with you all. The greatest joy of my crypto career has been this community. I came here looking for discussions about quadratic funding, ZK tech, decentralization, MEV. As an ETH finance alum, I came here for substance, and boy did I find it. My classes will begin July 17th. I don't know what the future holds. My intention is to remain as active as possible. I do not plan on resigning my MC position nor the Twitter spaces. It's almost certain I will have fewer nights of talking about life, liberty, and the pursuit of trolling Dibsy. I expect to spend more hours studying than ever. It's likely that my leading role in BD with some other incredible members of the IMC, especially Val, will be greatly reduced. In all, I think of my work with Rocket Pool as a roaring success, instrumental in launching our rETH ecosystem. Perhaps I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in the wood, and I took the one less traveled by. And in my heart, that makes all the difference. So that was a really lovely comment from Jasper. Congratulations to Jasper. I'm so proud of him. This is really, really great. I was trying to get this episode in under an hour, but it didn't work. I just gone over an hour. So thanks everyone for watching, listening, and being part of the Rocket Pool community, for all your kindness recently. I'll see you all tomorrow, or maybe on Friday, but a lot more regularly than once every 2 weeks. So thank you everyone. See you soon. Bye.